how do you deal with sort of problems, not just on the Strava side or on the business side, but personally, like if there's, you mentioned there were a few family issues in the past and having to juggle that with work, building a company and sort of taking care of your family. What's your escape? Obviously, I'm sure one of your answers will be exercise, which is always a good thing. How much has going out on a run, going for a hike helped your state of mind?
I can't even measure it. Like that to me, 30 minutes of fresh air, throwing on the running shoes and going, slower and slower as the years go by. But nonetheless, it really isn't about the physical fitness. It's about clearing my head. It's about getting some clarity around a challenge that I have. So I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to promote Strava. I really don't think there's a better elixir, a better solution in the world to sort of just clicking in and you can do it with a walk, you can do it with a run, you can do it with a ride, you can do it with a hike. But there's something for me about being outdoors, disconnecting and doing that. So that is solution number one, without question. I think, Barry, the other thing, and at times Strava's, this has been a blessing and a curse, but you have to understand at Strava, we've had something called the ABCs almost since inception from day one. We formalized them about 3 or 4 years into the business, but the ABCs are our core values. There's an A, a B, and 3 Cs. Actually, there's 2 A's. I should be clear. There was originally an A, a B, and 3 Cs: authenticity, balance, and then craftsmanship, camaraderie, and commitment. In 2020, we added an important other A to our ABCs, and that's anti-racism, because we felt like that was something that we were not paying attention to, and we realized we were part of the problem rather than the solution. So 2 A's, a B, and a 3 C's. For the sake of this conversation, the one that I'll talk about is balance, because balance is a tricky one. Balance and commitment. I remember having a conversation with one of our CFOs at Strava one day, and he's like, "We can't have balance and commitment. They're at odds with each other." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Of course we can. It's just that balance doesn't happen every day. And frankly, to be committed, they're one and the same, because you should be committed to ensuring that you're in this in a sustainable way." And so for me, thinking about balance, the best example I can give you, there was a time in my career when I had the best job in the world. I was running Strava. I was the CEO of Strava from, again, 2014, 2016, 2017. But I had a hard thing going on, which was that I was the primary parent. I was a single parent with twin boys, and I needed to be present for them. And I just couldn't figure out how to be in both places at the same time. And that was when we opted to bring in a new CEO and go down that path. And that's part of, I think, what you're talking about. I just had to make some hard choices around where, what was most important, and no regret. I've got 2 amazing kids that now at this point they're long gone, and I probably have more time to spend on Strava these days. But I think that's, for building great companies, that's the other thing, is that they shouldn't be dependent on any one individual. There's a great book out there, Built to Last by Jim Collins. It was written, again, years and years ago. It talks about, time tellers versus clock builders as entrepreneurs. And clock builders were sort of the Hewlett Packards of the world, where that company existed, 30 years after they'd passed away. That's what inspires Michael and I. Strava should last long beyond, even Michael and I being on this planet if we're successful. So big part of this is just to kind of have that mindset that, we got to play in this for the long game.